Turns out Sony Ericsson really weren't kidding when they said the Xperia X10 mini is the same size as a credit card. It's obviously a lot thicker, but as far as phones go, this thing is tiny. So it's basically a shrunken down version of the Xperia X10. So it's got a 2.5-inch capacitive screen, and we've got 3 hard keys at the bottom: menu, home and back. There's an all-important 3.5mm jack at the bottom, and you'll find a dedicated camera key to give you direct access to its 5-megapixel camera. Now, the X10 mini is packing Android 1.6, which, as we all know, is pretty old school, but we have been assured a 2.1 update is on its way over the next couple of months. And like the X10, Sony Ericsson has draped the UX user interface on top of Google's own, and despite the screen restrictions, interactivity isn't stifled at all. So you've still got the home screens. It's just for obvious reasons, they're limited to just one widget or shortcut per page, and you can have up to 20 of them, which could potentially get very, very annoying. But if it helps, swiping across is quick and the capacitive display is bright and responsive. And the icons that you see stuck to the edges of the screen are customizable shortcuts, emphasizing the X10 mini's ease of use. And just like the X10, there's the Timescape app. So like we've seen before, once you're logged into Facebook or Twitter, up pop your friends' status feeds, conversations, missed calls and messages in a chronological cover flow style design, which can be scrolled through nice and quickly. Although you no longer have a separate feed for absolutely everything like we've seen on the X10, this is now broken down into Facebook, Twitter, missed calls and messages. And there's also the infinite key if you want a personal timeline with a particular person, which appears in their contact information as opposed to on the Timescape windows themselves, like we've seen on the X10. Mediascape has been bundled in as well, but it exists on the handset as a nameless and limited feature. So the infinite key above the cover art will still appear, pulling up YouTube content and tracks to buy from Play Now. It just doesn't offer as much content as the X10, and it's probably down to the phone's size why this service is so limited. Okay, so moving on, and in a rather strange move, the accelerometer works when viewing pictures, but strangely not when surfing the web. And when it comes to text input, there's no on-screen QWERTY, which is pretty understandable. Instead, there's the alphanumeric keyboard. So needless to say, you won't be reaching the typing speeds of the iPhone, but it's still a decent texting experience. But if you do find yourself craving a physical keyboard, there's always the X10 Mini Pro, which comes with a slide-out QWERTY keyboard. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the X10 mini does have a 5-megapixel camera. Now, pictures are okay, but I felt they came out a little dark, and that's both indoors and outdoors on a sunny day. Okay, so to sum it up, the X10 mini packs in a lot of features into its teeny tiny frame, and there's definitely something very cool about it. Now, it feels a bit strange the first few times you make a phone call because it feels like there should be a lot more phone in your hand, but you get used to this in no time. So if you're in the market for something unique, something tiny, or perhaps you've always wanted to aspire to have a phone like Derek Zoolander, who knows? Either way, the X10 mini is a great mobile phone choice, not to mention it's nice and affordable.